Well, I hope this makes you happy because it makes me happy. It's such a simple thing. And it's not. I mean, you have to plan your morning and you have to decide and you have to, probably maybe get up earlier than you thought you were going to, and then you get here. Or home and you're home. And we have a chance to consciously together over and over again, each moment, devote ourselves to our deepest heart's desire. And we're all, that's what we're doing. Now you may think you're sitting here with your mind all over the place and planning and wishing your eyes would stay awake, or who knows what's going on that level. But the truth of it is what's going on all the time, and what we enact here is a really deep love and caring for the whole world. So we're Bodhisattvas. I love Bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas are us. So I'm going to tell you two stories. Well, one, because the last time we were here for a half day sitting, we found out that I think for a long time, AA has been meeting next door here. And so we closed the doors about a 11:45, so people would come and go, because in a certain way, it feels like this is, we come here for refuge. I want to hold the people who are coming to AA meetings. This is refuge. And so how we can sort of hear them next door making their coffee, and I'm hoping they can hear us in here chanting. I mean, not to freak people out, but that somehow our hearts go back and forth. I was saying to somebody, remembering San Francisco Zen Center, when the neighborhood's a little spiffier now than it used to be spiffier. But it used to be, when you sit in the basement of San Francisco Zen Center, there would be shootings out on the street. I remember Jay Semino got shot in the stomach. And people would just keep sitting. I mean, somebody would go out to check, of course, but it's like whatever's happening in the world, you just keep sitting. So I feel like this is part of the beauty of our practice, is nobody's disturbing us. We're sitting here with and for all beings. So I want to tell you one other story. I think because it's in the newsletter, is I co-facilitate with Dora Lee the Racial and Social Justice as Dharma Practice Group. And we had a meeting this past Thursday. And we decided to explicitly say it's a practice group, because I think there's lots of groups. I mean, hopefully, and I'm happy there are groups in the country that are addressing race and whiteness and justice, but that what we bring is we bring practice. And what is that? What is it that we bring to this and to each situation that is maybe not unique in the sense of being special, but unique in the sense of that's what we do, is we practice. And how does that manifest? And how can we encourage each other? Because I assume that most people are like me in one way or another. Is we get scared, we get angry, we get triggered. The world is the world that it is. And it's kind of amplified these days. So one person told a story. I think it's such a great story. She was really humble about it. I mean, she's just a really she didn't tell us like some great story. She just said it, and this is what happened. She was driving down the freeway, and she looked, the way bridges are over the freeway, and people are hanging banners from the bridges, and there were a group of people up there that were unfurling just as she drove under a banner that was saying something about Holocaust denial. Mm-hmm. And she said, this is it. I can either just drive by And it will go on and nobody will ever know who did it or what happened. Or I could turn around. Now, I'm not saying everybody should do that. I mean, this isn't like do this. This is like on TV when they say, you know, it's like there's skilled people doing this or this particular situation, don't try this at home. But this is an inspiration story to me because you don't know what your moment is going to look like. And so she turned around and she went up on the bridge or by the bridge. And she said she had her phone with her and she was recording, you know, she wasn't being dumb. But she didn't go, she said, I didn't go up with the intent to challenge anybody. I just went up with a sense of curiosity and wanting to ask them, what were they thinking and what were they feeling and what, you know, what was, it's like she entered, I would assume my language is she entered non-aggressively. And they had a conversation. And then she said, as she was telling the story, she said, and then as I was leaving, they rolled the banner back up and they took it down and everybody went home. Mm-hmm. Wow. She said, I don't know what happened. So to me, this story is, we don't know what's happening and we don't know what's going to happen. But it's like these moments are appearing all the time, you know, in the grocery store line or with our partners, or maybe it's banner on the bridge, or this is why we practice, so we can find the appropriate response in each moment. This is what Bodhisattvas do, is we know that our life is not just our own. So I'm going to tell you a little bit. I'm going to start with the Lotus Sutra. The Lotus Sutra is an ancient sutra. It's it's my most favorite sutras. It's practiced in Mahayana traditions all over the world. Sometimes then people don't like the Lotus Sutra because it's a little over the top, floriferous. There's bodhisattvas and there's flowers and there's incense, but you know, if you know me, it's like, wow, man, they're talking my language. So the part that I'm going to bring forward today is one of the most beautiful parts, and I want to read you Jean Reeves. Oh, it has a foreword by Rafe. I hadn't noticed that before. So this is a commentary on the Lotus Sutra, but he also, Jean Reeves is the translator. Oh, I know what I wanted to. So there are great bodhisattvas. The chapter 15, springing up from the earth. So Shakyamuni Buddha, a human being like you and me, made a vow, awakening, wants to be here to help. And in the Lotus Sutra, what happens is there's this kind of turning moment where throughout the sutra, all the great Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have been coming from all the different realms. It's like there's cosmoses, you know, worlds with beyond worlds, and they all show up and they say, Buddha, can we help you? We really want to help you on this earth. You know, it's like you got your work cut out for you, man. Here you're on the earth with these human beings, and I thought this is just, these are all the names of all the bodhisattvas, and somebody compiled them in the Lotus Sutra. I thought maybe I just read some of them because I think they're kind of beautiful and funny. Bodhisattva of valiant offering, Bodhisattva of true friend, universally worthy, inexhaustible will, floral excellence, seen with joy by all living beings. So you just have to imagine that they're all here and they're all hovering and they're all saying, I'm here to help. What can I do? Just tell me. Sort of get the feeling, right? So you know what the Buddha says? The Buddha says, no, thank you very much. I really appreciate your offer. But now I'm going to read you. There is no need. Why? Because in my world itself, that's this world. There are as many Bodhisattva great ones as there are sands in 60,000 Ganges rivers. And each one of these Bodhisattvas has as many followers as there are sands in 60,000 Ganges. And at this point, can you imagine? The ground shakes and splits open, and a fantastically enormous number of Bodhisattvas and their attendants spring up from the earth. So it's like all of a sudden, we thought it was all up here, and the ground shakes, out of the earth, all of you appear. You didn't know that, did you? You were just springing up out of the earth, where they have been living in empty space below the earth. And you know what the first thing they do is? Well, they're led by 4 great Bodhisattvas, which is probably all of you. Superior practice, unlimited practice, pure practice, and firm practice. And they go to the Shakyamuni Buddha, and the first thing they say is, how are you? What a beautiful thing to just do with each person. It's like, how are you? Margo, how are you? Oh, Shakyamuni Buddha, how are you today? Leslie, how are you today? Are you with few ailments and troubles? In teaching all the living, are you free from weariness? Is this exhausting you, Buddha? And are all the living readily accepting your teachings? Don't they make you, the world honored one, tired? You feel that way sometimes? Like, oh my God, there's so much confusion and delusion inside and outside, and then they offer to help the Buddha. And the Buddha explains that he has been teaching these bodhisattvas under the earth, now springing up, making themselves being bodhisattvas from under the earth, emergent, coming from the roots. Seeds of bodhisattvahood are planted deep in the ground and the earth, taking nourishment, and in just the right moment, popping up and saying, I'm here, I'm here. Sort of like what happened on the bridge, is I'm here. So the immanence of Buddha nature, the potential for Buddha nature is in each moment and in the ground of the earth and in the ground of every being, ready to spring forth. And we practice to affirm that and to help each other in the world of daily cares and concerns. To really love and follow the Buddha is to also love and care for the world, which is also to love and care for all beings. And the reverse to love and care for all beings is at the same time devotion to the Buddha. And the Buddha in each person, and goodness and potential, and the love and the world that we want this world to be. Not to mention our own basic sanity. I don't know about you. Do you get tired of walking? Do you get tired walking around in your own mind sometimes? Like, oi, oi. Take a breath. Okay. Here's a quote. I can't remember where I got it. When we let go of all attachment to the self over and over, we are naturally and spontaneously intimate with everything and in accord with the real state of things and oneness and interconnection. So we have a choice each moment. It's like, she kind of knew when she was driving under the bridge, the karmic conditioning was for herself, I would guess, fear, resistance, judgment, whatever. Is like, I'm going to pass this thing by. And in that moment, something arose that said, no, just go say, how are you? Are you tired? How can I help you in some way? Who knows what she said? But showing concern and going beyond her own self and offering kindness. Actualizing and embodying goodness. It's like that's what you do today when you sit down and you bow. And then you bow to the person next to you and across from you. Like, how are you? How are you? You do it all the way down from Berkeley. How are you? Are you tired? It's so sweet you're here practicing. I'm so tired. And Susan's here because Susan wants to be here, and because somebody helped Susan be here, and Susan helped other people be here, and on and on. And some of us got up early to set up, and a million, as many sanities. Bodhisattva is deeply concerned for all life. That's what our vow is. And for Mahayana Buddhists, sentient beings include all beings. Sentient and insentient, animate and inanimate, seen and unseen, recognizing that every creature is the miracle of aliveness. You know, like when you walk on the earth. Touch. Thich Nhat Hanh says, kiss the earth with your feet when you're out there doing walking meditation. You're just not walking. Associated from your feet and the earth and the air. Every creature possesses Buddha nature, the real truth of each being's own complete and mutual identity and interpenetration with all things. Take care of each thing. How are you? So I thought there are in this wonderful little book of Taigen's Phases of Compassion. He goes over the 10 transcendent practices of the Bodhisattvas. The first 6 are we know as the paramitas, and I picked out things that he said about each one of the transcendent practices. So I'm just going to read you a little bit as an encouragement. First one, these are all things you can practice with moment after moment after moment, forever. Generosity. Giving is a function and response of gratitude. When we receive and experience generosity, or when we simply appreciate with gratefulness the wonder and mystery of being alive, we are moved to acts of generosity ourselves. To give as the natural function of appreciating others, while seeing ourselves as intimately interconnected with others, is generosity practiced with a sense of wonder and gratitude for our ordinary life, just as it is, even the difficulties. A forever practice, right? Not going to come to the end of that one. 2, ethical conduct, or the precepts. In Mahayana Buddhism, precepts are interpreted based on encouragement towards staying in the world. Checking out of the realm of suffering into personal enlightenment is seen as the fundamental violation of the spirit of the Bodhisattva ethics. The intention to save and be here with all beings is the primary moral imperative. Just here, just here, just here. An ongoing intention and direction heading back home to the sanctuary of our deepest whole self that is completely unestranged from and inclusive of all other beings. It's practice, right? I don't know about you, but I often feel estranged from other beings. Or at least like I would just like to just go pull the covers over my head. Ongoing practice, just come back. No idea about it, but just come back over and over. That's it. And you spring up out of the earth here, which is where you already are, so you might as well be here. This is kind of funny. I always think of like little kids, you know, the way they hide behind couches and they think you can't see them. They think you're not here. You think we're not affecting the world? I mean, we did this. We're so silly. We're grown. Well, we look like we're things. 3, this is a really good one. I mean, you know this one, patience. With patience. Patience, forbearance, or tolerance, Kshante in Sanskrit, is the helpful attitude toward accepting and working with the difficulties of existence. Who told you there weren't going to be difficulties of existence? We just keep being surprised and resentful, right? I mean, basically, patience is simply means It simply means waiting. It's a good thing to practice today, because when you're in your chair waiting for 30 minutes for the bell to ring, you made a commitment to patience. And then you're going to come back. You're going to come back. No matter how good our conduct or practice, expecting or grabbing at some reward or result is a hindrance. When we do our best without any particular expectation, we can actually be ready for whatever comes. Patience is flexible, open, and ready to respond to the world before us. All we're doing, that's awesome. Good work, Bodhisattvas. Good work, Bodhisattvas. Okay, 4. See how many of these we actually get through. 4, effort. Effort or diligence. The perfection of effort is the intensity, enthusiasm, and zeal to continue amidst adversity. You want it all to be the same and everybody to agree with you. Spiritual strength and stamina are required to persist on the path. We need to keep in balance. Too severe, if we push ourselves too hard and become too tightly wound, we may snap from the pressure. If we're too easy and lax with ourselves and our efforts, our energy will flag and we will also fail to continue. Enthusiasm and patience support each other and are complementary. Sustainable effort and endurance are two sides of the balance in continuing practice. Enthusiasm, whoa, a whole new period of zazen. Patience, well, this the bummer, my mind will quiet down, my knee hurts, and anyway, you get it. Breathe. There's nothing abnormal or wrong in any of this. Stop thinking it's going to be something else. Then you'll keep springing up from the ground and the earth of here, just here, along with all beings. Wow, how can I help? 5, meditation. Oh boy, we're in the right place. For concentration, jhana in Sanskrit. The kind of meditation we do is objectless, although we focus breath. Breath is our object. I mean, we keep coming back to breath, but there are moments where you can just let go of breath. You're just in an open field. Breathing in and breathing out. Do not meditate as a mean to achieve some resultant mental state or experience. You may think you're here to calm down and make yourself happier, but you're going to keep setting yourself up if that's not what's happening. Meditation becomes simply an ongoing expression or celebration of our fundamental Meditation becomes simply an ongoing expression or celebration of our fundamental openness and awakening. Right? Zazen is just a celebration of opening and awakening. Just giving yourself to it. Rather than a method of fulfilling expectations or attaining some desired state, imagined to be identifiable with enlightenment or whatever you think is some perfect state that is going to save you. Maybe not everybody else, but we get you out of discomfort. 6, wisdom. Want to know about wisdom? Me too. Wisdom, prajna. I've been loving that word. Prajna. Just say prajna. Such a beautiful, it's like breath. Beautiful word. Is the experience of the essential unity and sameness of all things in the midst of their diversity. That's wisdom. All things appear and finally cease. All of us will pass away. In spite of all the distinctions we cherish, all people are alike. All of us. People putting up the banner, people who took down the banner, having fears, needs, and desires, wanting to love and be loved. That's what everyone wants. without exception. We just have sometimes kind of confused and swirly ways of showing that they're asking for it. This penetrating insight into the oneness and emptiness of all creation is wisdom. It is simply a way of being that releases and lets go of attachment. End of the exhale, wonder, and the next inhale. That's our practice. That's what we help each other do. It's a practice of opening and letting go. And you are so lucky that you have at least the rest of this morning to practice this with conscious awareness. You are so smart and so wise. 7, skillful means. Practice of skillful means involves knowledge of a variety of tools, different ways of being, involves trusting Buddha and trusting the world to supply what is required. You don't know what's available if you're not available to ask what's here. You're just going to keep doing the same old thing. Such Buddhist faith in the awakening nature of reality, that everything's alive, and if you're alive, and ask with your being, with your presence, with your vow, what you need will come. It's like it's already here. That's what's so amazing. And it may be big and thunderous, or it may just be, I don't know. Looked outside and I just thought it may just be, it's like, oh, move your foot so you don't step on an insect when you're walking, because you slow down enough to see it. I mean, I don't know. You don't know. Not knowing is most intimate. Skillful means arises out of the earth and out of each one of us and our bodies and our hearts and our minds, and not knowing is most intimate. As we allow our practice of such skillfulness to blossom, it can be a support and a guide to the perfections of enthusiastic effort and generosity. So they're all tied together. One great big circle. 8, vow. Bodhisattva vows, commitment, showing up. You showed up. Show up, show up, show up. Here, 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 just this, just this. All the Bodhisattva Mahayana vows are based in the fundamental vow to remember and benefit all beings, which is inspired by the impulse of caring for others, which starts with caring for this self. Take care of this self, please. How in the world do you think you're going to know how to take care of anybody else if you don't take care of this self? But as you take care of other selves, they're also mirrors of you. Your heart gets more tender, and more generous, and more patient, and more wise, and more enthusiasm for, oh, kindness actually, we do want to keep trying to be more kind. That's how this works. 9, we're getting there, almost to 10. Powers. Now, in some traditions, and in some early Buddhist traditions, there are things about powers. You know, if you meditate, you're going to get this power, that power. Zen doesn't quite go down that road. But I actually do think it's important to mention power, because I think most of the world, the currency we're all working on is power. That's what the self operates on, is it wants the power to take care of itself and protect itself. It wants money, it wants position. I mean, we may think we're beyond all that, but I don't think so. Pay attention. What he says about power. In the Zen tradition, it emphasizes attention to ordinary, everyday activity. This outlook was epitomized in the legendary utterance by the great 8th century Chinese adept Layman Pang. We should study William Penn sometime, and his daughter. That the ultimate supernatural power is, you ready? I know what it is? Chopping wood and carrying water. That's it. The ordinary world, just as it is appreciated as an amazing and wondrous event. And number 10, knowledge. When awakened by insight, ethical conduct, and the basic Bodhisattva vow and intention to care for beings, whatever intuitive or acquired knowledge is available to us can be applied to strengthen appropriate skillful means and generosity. Knowledge is right here springing up out of yourself, out of the earth, out of the entire world. It's not knowing is most intimate, is the knowledge of awakeness and openness. We can then study the details of how people respond, how to apply our tools, and how we ourselves think and feel. You get to do that on the question today. Such information used wisely can be applied to all the complex situations of the world to accomplish Bodhisattva work. So it's pretty simple. And it's ongoing, and we remember and we forget. I got 1 or 2 more. It's sort of on schedule. Maybe I'll do it. I want to just tell you this one last thing. I can't help myself. So Dogen wrote about the Bodhisattva vows, the 4 Bodhisattva methods of guidance. I'm just going to do them quickly. First one, same thing, giving, generosity. They all start with giving and generosity. You get lost, come back to giving and generosity. That's the most generous thing you can do, come back. Second, Dogen says kind speech, which is exactly what the Bodhisattvas did when they came up and they saw, when they saw Shakyamuni Buddha, they said, how are you? Dogen says, when you see sentient beings, you arouse the heart of compassion and offer words of loving care. It is contrary to cruel or violent speech. I have a feeling that when this woman went up on the bridge, she didn't say, what are you stupid people doing up there? I have a feeling she probably approached with something like, how are you? Some way that instead of triggering and shutting doors, there was a conversation that ensued. How are you? And of generating concern. Third is beneficial action. All beings caring about everything's distant and near future and helping them by using skillful means. Just do your best. Take care of them. Take care of the room. Take care of what's around you. On the trees. And the fourth one, which I just wanted, that's why I wanted to keep going. Some say it's well, it's the heart of our practice. All the rest of them are completely the heart of our practice, but this is the heart of our practice. Part of our practice is called identity action, which is non-difference of self and others. It's not based on an ethical or philosophical recognition, but that right here and now is the world that includes everything. Past, present, future, right here, just this moment. so that every action we take ripples across time and space. It can heal the wounds of the past. It can create the future that we hope for. And it will bring kindness and generosity to this moment. Thich Nhat Hanh calls it doing the same thing. You just as a bodhisattva, it's like, what does the situation need? I don't have to show up as Chris being somebody more or less. It's just like, just show up as best you can and then be what the situation needs, which is going beyond help, going beyond self. He says, deep listening. Listen with your whole body. Listening with compassion. Using loving speech. Looking deeply. That's our practice. That's what we're practicing today. Just slowing down. What's important is to meet the challenges and the wonder and the awe and the beauty. We must meet all of it by offering kind speech arising from a kind heart, then offering beneficial action and identity action, and by recognizing that when we bring all of this forth within ourselves, we are bringing it forth within others. We're helping each other. So there's a beautiful vowing verse. The one who is bowing and the one who is bowed to are not separate by nature. My body and the other's body are not two. Humbling. There's no beginning and there's no end. You think you got it? That's great. Do you think you blew it? Out of that too. Just each moment, just start over fresh. There's Bodhisattvas springing up out of the earth everywhere. And it's you, and it's me, and it's everybody. You wouldn't be here if you didn't care. So let's all just Bodhisattva names: ever diligent, endowed with great power, accumulation of wisdom, royal constellation of blossoms, valiant offering, embracing the earth. That's you. So let's help each other and the world. No special powers. Just chocolate, carry the water. We're doing it. So I'm going to get up. We're going to do the after the Bodhisattva vows, close the lecture chant. To close the lecture, I'm going to do 3 full bows, and with you, hopefully, just bow, bow. Then we'll do a little keening, and we'll probably let's do 10 minutes of keening constants, and so zazen will probably be a little shorter. You can figure that out.